AEW Fight Forever. Now this game may have failed to live up to expectations for many, but that doesn't mean it didn't do its job. The positive impact this game made sent ripple effects through the wrestling game industry that we're now seeing live on through WWE 2K. What am I talking about, you ask? Well, for starters, the blood. AEW is a notoriously more blood-friendly product on TV, and it showed in their first console game. I remember playing AEW Fight Forever for the first time and getting in these barbed wire matches, these lights out matches, these no holds barred matches, and seeing blood pour from not only the face of other superstars, but from their arms, from their back. I mean, this is stuff we hadn't seen in a wrestling game since probably, ECW Anarchy Rules on the N64? I mean, it had been that long since we've seen blood in places other than the head. And I know that may sound like a little thing, but you gotta think, this has been 25 years of the same spot bleeding every single time, just the generic face blood, which is great, but when you hit somebody across the back with a barbed wire wrapped 2x4, you want to see effects of it. In AEW Fight Forever, you see bruising on the back, on the chest, cuts on the front, in the back, and now, imagine this. In our WWE 2K games, we now see effects of the match wear on the superstars' chests, on their backs, we see blood pouring onto the canvas, and this is stuff we hadn't seen until AEW Fight Forever. The blood pouring onto the mat, seriously, is such a sensational addition, and we have this game to thank for it. On 2K, now we see blood staying on the mat as the match progresses. It doesn't stay there indefinitely. That might have been too much to ask for. But it is nice to see, and I think we're headed in the right direction. I mean, can you imagine one day in Universe Mode, if your opener was a Falls Count Anywhere or Extreme Rules match, and you spill some blood onto the mat, and then subsequent matches on the same card in your Universe Mode have that blood in the same spot on the mat? I think we're going to see that one day. Maybe not with 2K, but hey, who knows? Speaking of no holds barred, Falls Count Anywhere, lights out type matches, the ability to throw weapons was missing from WWE games forever, for no frickin' reason seemingly. That was just not even a feature you thought about. It was just like, of course you have weapons in the game, of course you'd be able to throw them, right? Forever we were able to do that, and then all of a sudden, we weren't able to do it anymore in 2K. But then AEW Fight Forever comes out and you can throw funny objects. I mean, I love throwing the tire, I think it is, like a frisbee. I love throwing the champagne bottle and watching it explode. I like throwing the explosive barrel and watching that blow up. I mean, it was kind of silly and over the top, but being able to throw weapons, it was kind of a big deal again thanks to AEW Fight Forever. And then, all of a sudden, we see that feature returning in 2K games. That is not a coincidence, guys. It's a great addition that we have to thank AEW Fight Forever for. And then when the action spills to the outside of the ring in AEW Fight Forever, you were able to perform moves off the mother-flippin' barricade. That's right, something that you were able to do in SmackDown games from 2002. You were not able to do them for so many years in the WWE games. And then all of a sudden, AEW Fight Forever comes along. You're able to do splashes, moonsaults, dives off the barricade, and whoa, what do you know? A couple years later, you're able to do it in WWE 2K. Are you guys starting to pick up on a running theme here yet? Because I got plenty of other examples I can run through for you here. How about intergender wrestling? That used to be just a part of wrestling games in general. It wasn't a returning feature you had to tout in your ads and on the back of your frickin' game case. It was just, of course, it's a video game. Why can't you have matches? Why can't you have a Hell in a Cell match between Brock Lesnar and Sable? But what do you know, they took the feature away like so many others I've mentioned already in this video, and for years we weren't able to do it. Then AEW Fight Forever comes along, we can have intergender matches because it's a fun video game, and video games are supposed to be fun at the end of the day, and wow, look at that, you're able to have intergender matches again in WWE 2K. Still want more examples? Okay, how about the ramp camera? That's right, we used to have that ramp-facing camera forever in wrestling games, and it actually was my favorite point of view. I liked seeing the elaborate Titantrons and stage setups back when, they were actually elaborate. But once again, they took that away from the WWE games in favor of the hard camera approach to kind of replicate what an actual television broadcast would look like, so I understand that, but is it really a coincidence that AEW Fight Forever comes out with that ramp camera and then all of a sudden you have the option to use that as your default camera for WWE 2K? There's a lot of coincidences here in this video already, don't you think? But hell, how about one more striking coincidence for you? The 5 signature and finisher slots for superstars. This is one of the coolest things about AEW Fight Forever. You're able to have so many different signatures so you can hit different signatures, like Kenny Omega. He has a million different ways to hit the V trigger, and all of them are included in this game. Now, in WWE 2K, you're able to have a bunch of signatures and finishers for superstars too, like Roman Reigns. He can hit the Superman punch from different positions. He's able to do the drive-by. He's able to set up his finishers in ways that replicate the real-life product. Before, you could only have 1 or 2 signatures, which over the years has no longer become an accurate representation of today's product. Superstars today like Seth Rollins and Finn Balor, these guys have so many different moves that I would define as signature moves, so it's nice to be able to see 2K borrow that from AEW Fight Forever and put it into their games. Now, these are a lot of features. That was a whole bunch of stuff I just listed, but there's even more that I would like to see 2K borrow from AEW Fight Forever that hasn't been implemented into the 2K series yet, namely the reversal system. I've said for years on this channel, I hate the single button timed reversal system that we have in 2K today. It is an improvement off of the previous. You only had like 5 stock reversals and then you had a cooldown if you used all of them. I hated that one. You should never be able to just use up your reversals. I don't even like the stun meter, but that's a different video. I like the reversal system from this game, where you have 1 button that reverses strikes, 1 button that reverses grapples, R2 and L2 respectively. This is the best way to go about reversing strikes and counters. It keeps people guessing. You're not able to just spam 1 button. There is a layer of strategy in it. You're forced to switch up your attack patterns. You can't just get the same timing down for everything and be able to counter everything, because your opponent is able to keep you guessing in a world where there are 2 different reversal buttons. Do you understand what I'm getting at here? This is how the SmackDown series was for years, and then all of a sudden they switched it to 1 button, and I hate it. I wish we would go back. I also prefer the weapon physics in AEW Fight Forever. Yeah, I said it, and I don't care who knows it. I'll say it again. I prefer the AEW Fight Forever weapon physics. It is so frustrating to be in a multi-man ladder match in WWE 2K and just not be able to pick up a ladder or accidentally grab the ring ropes for a springboard attack when all you wanted to do was pick up a chair, or set up a table in a tables match only to have that table fall over from the slightest breeze in the wind in the arena. It's so stupid and frustrating to have these weapon and when you do pick up a weapon, it's slow as balls to hit your opponent with it. You're better off just throwing it or dropping it on the ground and just throwing a punch or a kick. The weapon physics are trash in 2K, which is really a shame, because the weapon physics got to such a good point towards the end of the SmackDown vs. Raw series. It definitely took them a while, but to see them regress to this state is really disheartening, and it's gotten a little bit better in the last couple of years, but I think it still has a long ways to go. I love the ease of setup for weapons in AEW Fight Forever. I love how easy it is to transition from one spot to the next. I like the fluidity of the gameplay, I guess is what I'm saying. So if we're talking about more things I want to see 2K borrow from AEW Fight Forever, I think you got to add the weapon physics onto that list. But nevertheless, AEW Fight Forever will not be remembered in the annals of time as one of the greatest video games in the pro wrestling genre to ever exist. No, it won't. But I do think we can't overlook the importance that this game had on the pro wrestling game industry. Now, in a world where different wrestling games are coming out, more than ever before, dare I say, I think we have to tip our cap to AEW Fight Forever and give them their flowers, honestly, because we're not going to have the 2K that we have today had it not been for AEW Fight Forever. Competition brings out the best in all parties involved, and that's not just exclusive to wrestling games. The same is true with other sports games like football, baseball, basketball. The same can be said about all of those as well. And you think about when wrestling games were at their peak, a lot of people like to say the N64 era was the peak for wrestling games. I'm not going to say I agree or disagree, but you can't deny it was certainly a boom. And we had different companies making different wrestling games, which made everybody better. To be honest, a rising tide lifts all ships, I believe the saying is, and if AEW Fight Forever does make a sequel, even if the gameplay is not your cup of tea, you can't deny the positive impact it will have on your wrestling game of choice. But that's all from me, guys. I'll throw it back to you. What do you think? Do you want to see more AEW Fight Forever? Do you want to see a sequel? I think everybody wants to see a sequel, but what do you hope to see from that sequel? And what are your thoughts on the positive impact from AEW Fight Forever? I know there's a lot of powerful mixed emotions on that game, but anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Do all the YouTube stuff for me. Please like, comment, sub, and I will catch you guys next time. Until then, be well and take care.